Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 38. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Action Target. This week's guest is actually a new guest. It's Glenn Jerome, and he's the winner of the RaidTech AR-15 giveaway. How's it going, Glenn?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. Like I said earlier, I listen avidly every week, and oftentimes I like to chime in. But as we experienced earlier, I'm not familiar with the Hangouts. But now I am, and excited to be here.
I think you're getting the hang of it pretty quickly. So what did you do in shooting this week?
Well, I took the RaidTech out to the range that I shoot on. It's not a public range. It's private land. It's my wife's family's. We have a few 100 acres, and I've got a lot of targets set up at different distances. So I went ahead and sighted in a couple of scopes on the AR-15 and on another rifle. I shot some handguns, and including my 1911 and a SIG P6. It's a 9mm German police-issued sidearm. I got new grips put on that. That's why I went and shot it. They're pretty awesome. Shot the AR-15 a lot. Shot approximately 280 rounds-ish through there. And that's when I did the evaluation on the RaidTech, and I took a friend with me, and we had a good time.
Sweet. How'd you like it?
I liked it a lot, actually. It was very unobtrusive, as unlike what I thought it would be. I thought it would be much more kind of pointless and useless, but I saw it to be a great tool. If I had a need for it, I'd buy one for each AR that I had. Like if I was running a training course or a carbine course or something like that for new beginners, or I guess newbies.
Yeah, it is pretty cool how you can put that the receiver anywhere on your rail that's best for you to see. So, I mean, you got a quad rail, you got options where you can put that. It kind of definitely makes it feel like kind of an arcade, where you can, get on the left side or the right side and definitely know how many rounds you got. So
yeah, absolutely. It was heck, you could put it anywhere. There's a rail, anywhere you want, really. So on the rifle, I have it installed on it. It is on a rail, on a quad rail. And interestingly enough, I had it on the. I had some iron sights that I was sighting in as well, some 45-degree offsets. So I ran it on the left side, which would, typically probably not be where I mounted it. However, they would have interfered with the iron sights. So I put it on the left side and it worked fine.
Yeah. Very cool. I myself, I just worked up some more 308 loads and shot with my my Remington 700 with my new can, my AAC Cyclone suppressor, and just kind of evaluating the point of impact change when you get that thing threaded on the end of the barrel. And it's pretty consistent, and it's just low, about 2 MOA. From what I've talked to other people, that's not all that bad. It's just basically barrel droop. It's just an extra weight on the end of your barrel that messes with the harmonics, and so your shots should typically go lower. So then I put that on my my 6.8 SBC AR-15. It's at the same thread pitch and about the same results. Everything went just about 2 MOA lower. So I had fun doing that. Took my significant other to the range and let her shoot a bunch of pistols and some Action Target steel, and then we even did some archery shooting as well, making sure that our hunting bows were still sighted in. So was a good 4th. Did not light off any fireworks, but all the money I spend on powder and primers, I like to see it go bang with a little bit more authority and precision.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I spent a little bit of money on fireworks. My kids really enjoy them. Where we went this year, it's pretty much a free for all. It was really dangerous. I took a Roman candle in the elbow. Better my elbow than one of my kids, though. But yeah, it was pretty awesome at the same time. However, I'd much rather invest money in gunpowder being expended elsewhere, like the range. Um, so yeah, uniquely enough, it's I always take a lot of the fireworks that I have extra each year, and you had mentioned prior to us starting the show, people making their own custom tannerite loads, etc. So I kind of work up something along those lines with sparklers and stuff, but I haven't been able to do it in the last few years and shoot it off around the 4th because of our drought that we've had here in Oklahoma. But during the winter and spring we get or winter and fall we get plenty of ice, so I always seem to have fun with it then.
There you go. Oh, I remember the years of my youth always making failed sparkler bombs. Yeah, they just basically catch on fire, and yeah, you're like all bummed out. But then that one time it works, you're just so excited and thrilled. And now that I'm old enough and I got stuff to lose, I don't mess with that stuff anymore.
What is it, illegal?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past it, but
it may be illegal here. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get an email. So statute of limitations, I was only about like 7 years old. So anyway,
a young pyro, huh?
Yeah, started young, but it's over. Got that out of my system. So let's get right into the new product Actually, no, not the announcements. Sorry.
The giveaway.
The giveaway. We're still doing a giveaway for the Intelliscope mount. So basically, I've got it right here. It mounts onto a Picatinny or Weaver rail, and then with one of the 3 phone covers that I have, they basically clip onto your phone and then clip onto the mount here, and turn your smartphone into a digital scope. So I have covers for the iPhone 4, and I still have yet to figure out, because there's no markings on the cases here, which they are. I think there might be a Samsung Galaxy S3 here, but you could definitely get a hold of the company Intelliscope and get a mount specific to your phone, especially now that there's new phones out there, an iPhone 5 or whatnot. They've got new covers for all those made up. So to win the mount itself, which is I think it's like an $80 or $90 value. All you have to do is leave this podcast an iTunes review, and then you have to email me, cross@firearmsradio.tv, with your iTunes nickname and your shipping address, and you'll be entered to win. So you only have a few days left. On the 15th, I will be choosing a winner, and that podcast with the winner announced will be released on July 18th. So the app, the actual Intelliscope app, is free to download on either the Android or the Apple Marketplace. It's just that the mount cost. So this would be something very easy for you to do and put on your 22 or any kind of smaller caliber rifles. That's what I would see it best on, like an AR-15 that's a 22, just so you don't rattle any battery cords or anything on the inside of your phone. Or if you've got an extra phone that's you don't have data plan or whatnot, it'd work fine with that too. So let's get right into the new product spotlight. And this week I've got a pretty good one to start off with. It's Colt's new bolt action rifle, and it's the M2012 LT, so M2012 LT, and it's chambered in both 260 and 308. And it is a sweet rifle with a not-so-sweet price tag. But you do get a lot and everything that you'd want in a pretty much a precision bolt-action rifle you'd get. And the 260 Remington caliber is pretty awesome too. So if you're not familiar with that, it's a 308 case that's been nicked down to accept a 264 diameter projectile, so basically a 6.5 bullet. So if you're not familiar, the 6.5 caliber bullets have a really good BC, a ballistics coefficient. So you get a lot of long range and competitive shooters are going to 6.5 caliber rifles just because it carries a lot more velocity and bucks the wind better than a 30 caliber bullet or a 22 caliber bullet, obviously. And it's still very viable for hunting as well, so it's kind of a real nice caliber. So this rifle, it's made by Colt in cooperation with Cooper Arms. So there's kind of a based on Cooper rifles. So they're kind of following in the legacy of Jeff Cooper, I believe. And so it comes with one of the features that I see on it that make it like an instant hit for a precision rifle shooter. It comes with bottom metal, and it comes with a 5-round accuracy international magazine, and those magazines are like the standard as far as bolt-action rifle magazines are concerned. So you can get a 10-rounder. They're expensive magazines, but I mean they're high quality. So you can get a 10-rounder for this, which would be sweet to have. It's got a pretty gnarly muzzle brake on there. I'm seeing a different muzzle brake on Colt's website, but looking at this article in the Field and Stream, they have one of Cooper's muzzle brakes on there that's just got ports all the way around it. The bolt itself is fluted, and the bolt handle is knurled for a better grip. The barrel's got flutes running down it. The stock is that kind of smoky gray laminate. It's got a kind of a nice, almost pistol grip built into the stock. It's a sweet rifle. Have you taken a look at this, Glenn?
You know it. Yeah, it's really, really awesome. And the price carries consistency with the Colt price tags. Yeah, it's a nice caliber too, 260. It's got a very good ballistic coefficient. I didn't realize that Colt was making these until I saw the show notes, and man, that's pretty sweet looking. At first, before I read it, I thought it was like the Ruger, the Gunsight Scout, but apparently it's not.
Yeah, it's got a similar stock. So we're looking at a price tag of $2,795 is the MSRP. Street value, hope to come a little bit under that. It is a 22-inch barrel, so it's as far as barrel length goes, it's a little shorter than most long-range rifles, but it is kind of a heavier contour match-grade barrel. It's a 1 in 8 twist button rifle. And the overall weight of the rifle without a scope mounted is 8.5 pounds. So as I understand, Colt's put out a couple rifles, that are in the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range, really expensive precision rifles, but weighed a ton. So they were able to, they did all the fluting, but they've got this rifle down to under 9 pounds. It does some of the other differences is it's got a 3-lug design as opposed to the 2-lug design for the bolt face, so it's inherently more accurate and kind of bears kind of more evenly when you're chambering around. It does come with a one-piece Picatinny scope rail. It doesn't have any kind of MOA compensating built into it. It's just a flat rail. I think that. Oh, also the trigger it comes with a Timney trigger, and that's set at the factory at 3 pounds and 7 ounces, which is just shy of 3.5 pounds. So it's definitely a lighter trigger than most factories, but it's not the lightest trigger. But if it's a Timney, that means you could take the action apart and lighten that up yourself pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what didn't you put a Timony in your Remington?
I did, and I'm loving it. I have it set at 2 pounds, and
Hmm.
it surprises me. But I've always been taught that if as long as you've got you're obeying the laws of gun safety, and the trigger break surprises you, that means that your body doesn't have time to compensate and tense up or whatnot. So at least in archery too, if the shot break surprises you and you've just been focusing on remaining on target, then it's going to be a truer shot than if your brain is sending signals to your finger to pull the trigger now, and then shot breaks and your rifle wobbled and whatnot. So Timney is a really nice trigger, and good price too. I mean, for mine was like 130 odd dollars. No
Hmm.
problem, man. And it's going to be in there for a lifetime. So yeah, the 260 Remington. I mean, you can load some like 140 grainers. Um, you've got to cut like some nice options there for shooting deer, but it's definitely light enough for you to take in the field. But I think this is going to really be a nice, somewhat lightweight bench rifle too. They show these
Yeah,
at SHOT Show. Do you see any of those videos?
yeah. I looked at them, and it's actually surprisingly lightweight compared to the other uh, the other bolt action rifles that Colt's put out. Like they've got one that weighs 13.2 pounds. Yeah, but so once I looked at it, I was actually surprised because I did see one of the videos of SHOT Show where they had one of the other rifles that was over 10 pounds, and that's a heavy rifle, especially for being as short as they are. I personally like the shorter rifles. I know that you had mentioned last week you do too. So to see that it came in right over 8 pounds was kind of surprising. I mean, it's still heavy, compared to maybe a Savage, but I think the quality is probably superior. I don't know. I've never shot anything quite that expensive.
I mean, as far as the shopping list of any person that wants a custom precision rifle, I mean, bottom drop metal, like it's there, it takes accuracy, international mags,
Hmm.
chances are you probably have a couple of those lying around. It's got a muzzle brake. I think the muzzle thread on it. I think it's uh, 5/8 by
Hmm.
28.
Yeah.
So if you don't like them, if you've got a muzzle brake that you like, or if you want to put a suppressor on there, easily accomplished. The only thing I see is that just based on the pictures that I've seen and the ring height that whoever set up these rifles and took pictures of them, the rings look a little high. So looking at the cheek weld, you may want to put a stock pack on there just to elevate your cheek a little bit. And this Field and Stream article, they did mention something about that too. That was kind of like one of their only little picks that they could do is like the cheek weld. You had to elevate your chin a little bit to get in the sweet spot. So either really get your objective bell just really close to the barrel with the lower rings, or get a stock pack to lift your cheek up a little bit. So yeah, to 260 or 308, man. I mean, those are two great calibers.
Yeah, you prefer the 260, right? Or is it the 308 that you like better?
Well, I mean, now that I have a 308, it's like, all right, I've got a 308. It's in the gun safe. I like it. I've got components for it. But I wouldn't mind having a 6.5. I think I might lean a little bit more toward the Creedmoor.
Hmm.
Um, but I think this would be good too, or the 26 Nosler. But
There you
um,
go.
yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
yeah. So if you want to check that out, go over to Colt's website, www.colt.com, and then you go to their bolt action rifles, and it just kind of has all of them listed out in a grid. and the M2012LT and 308 and 260 are kind of on the far end of that little table. But there's not a whole lot of information about the new ones. You might want to check into their press releases or some of the other websites that it's got more information on them, and some of that SHOT Show footage. So the next product I wanted to talk about is the Burris Eliminator 3. And what that is a rifle scope and rangefinder combination. So it's a scope that's got a rangefinder built right in. But not only that, but it's got this really cool kind of, I don't know, it's kind of makes it too easy, but it's programmable to give you a kind of a Kentucky windage type thing where you hold your reticle right on your target, and then you click a button on the side of the scope and it ranges it, so it'll say 450 yards, and you already would have your caliber, and they assigned it like a certain code for the drop between 100 yards and 500 yards with that caliber. So you program those numbers in, and the scope remembers that. So then when you range like a target at 450 yards, it then on this kind of a bar on that bottom post, it'll actually do a little red dot right where that point would be for your elevation adjustment. So you just, it'd show a dot there. You lift the scope up, you put that dot right where you want to shoot, pull the trigger, and it kind of takes the math and the calculating, mils or MOA out of the equation. And it's got windage adjustment on there too. So basically, it's got a built-in windage factor of 10 miles an hour. So if there's wind, if it's under 10 miles an hour, you're going to have to cut it in half. If it's over, you're going to have to compensate for that. But basically, it tells you of a windage factor of like 1, which is 10 miles an hour at 100 yards, it'll already tell you how much windage you have to compensate for. So if at 450 yards, it'll actually tell you how many little windage dots to hold off for wind. So if you get this thing set up right with your caliber, it can basically help you make faster shots because it's doing all this calculating for you.
That's pretty cool.
I've never had experience with them. I'd sure like to give them a try, especially if it just makes. And also another big thing is it's got a built-in inclinometer. The high-tech gadget that measures incline. There you go. It basically, if you're shooting at a steep angle or any angle whatsoever, it'll take that into effect. So if you're looking uphill or downhill, you range your target, and it gives you that dot to use for your elevation. It's already taken into consideration your angle. So if you were to make that calculation yourself, there's a good chance you probably forgot about the angle, and your shot's probably going to go lower than what you had imagined it would, depending on the angle. So it's kind of cool that it's got that in there. It does come in 2 magnifications. There's a 3x12, and that's a 44 mil objective, and then there's a 4x16, and that's a 50 mil objective.
Yeah, I like the 3x12x44. That seems to be, from my perspective, we have big wide open spaces here in Oklahoma, and I can't really see a need for anything larger than that. 50. That's. I've had a scope with a 50 mil lens, and that's big. That's real big. But a 3x12x44 seems to be like the perfect size from my perspective for anything, unless I'm trying to shoot like long range, which I don't do anything over a few, 500-600 yards.
Yeah, the 50 mil is nice for letting in more light, and not having it kind of helps with your not the parallax, but just getting a good field of view at longer ranges. and I kind of like it, but it is bulky. I mean, you got to get higher rings or the very tall rings, and just adds to the bulk of your rifle. So looking at the MSRP, I'm actually not seeing one on Burris, but I can give you the prices that Cabela's has on them.
Hmm.
The 4x16 is $1,500, and the 3 to 12 is $1,200. The reticle is called the X96, and the field of view at 100 yards for the 4x16 is 26 to 7, and the 3x12 at 100 yards is 33 to 9.
Huh.
And the weight of the 4x6 is 30.4 ounces, and the 3 to 12 is 28.8 ounces. So that's kind of the thing with having a scope that's got all this built-in bells and whistles, is that it is going to be a little bit of a heavier scope. So if you're running this on a heavier platform, you're going to definitely have a
Like the
lugging
Colt
around
that you just reviewed.
yeah, right.
Or talked about. Yeah, that would be a good bicep workout with all the pull-ups you're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got like a lighter gun, like the mountain gun, or the ones that are just super lightweight profile, almost pencil barrel, like a real extreme taper that are meant to cut down on the pounds and not be like repeated shots. Like take it out in the field, hike up the mountain, one shot, one kill, drag your dinner home. Having this heavier scope mounted on that and making a more precise shot, because it's helping out with all the ballistic bells and whistles, that would be an advantage, I'd see, if you put it on one of those new like lightweight Kimber rifles or whatnot.
Yeah, actually, I just read a review about that yesterday, day before, the Kimber, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. I guess I think they gave it fourth of the 5 rifles that they reviewed, but had some pretty nice rifles in there. I think the that Nosler was one too. So
Yeah. As for the rangefinder,
that's really
Burris, they say that it's 999 yards is the max. I've seen reviews of somebody's claiming that it went out past 1,000 yards as far as ranging a target. It really depends on how the reflective factor that you have. Um, so I mean, I think that within 1,000 yards, it's not very hard to do your homework and understand the relationship between your scope, your reticle, and your ballistics, your bullet travel and whatnot. But for those that just aren't into that, and they've got more money than sense, and they want they want to be able to not have any margin of error, because sometimes when you're out in the field and you see that trophy, it could be gone in a blink of an eye. So
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
if you've got the change to do this, and I understand that getting it zeroed is going to be much more of a pain as far as getting your caliber punched in there and zeroing the scope itself. It's going to definitely probably take you an afternoon to get that figured out, but
Hmm.
it might be worth it to you. If I had the money,
Part of the
I,
fun, right?
yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if you're shooting past 500 yards, hopefully you've got a caliber that's can handle that. So you're not just lobbing bullets.
Right.
So like, I would put this on a 300 Win mag, but it's got such good ballistics because the velocity that I shouldn't have to do all that much work to figure out, 800 yards, what's the inch and drop going to be, and then understanding the wind. Um, if I was shooting past 1,000 yards, that's where I think a scope like this would shine. Is
Yeah.
okay, it's at 1,460 yards, punch that thing in, bam. But this has limitations to ranging that far.
Yeah. It's like, why 9.99? Why can't they just get one more yard out of it?
I don't know. I understand that there's rangefinders that can go that far, but I mean, you're probably going to spend more than on this rifle on one of those specialized rangefinders. So Their videos are pretty gnarly though. I mean, their logo's got like a Grim Reaper on it, and I mean, like they've got videos of like some like, UFC fighters. I don't know, like the owner of Burris must be really into Ultimate Fighting because he got a bunch of fighters to help sponsor the scope.
Hmm.
Um,
Wonder if that has any connection with Matt Hughes.
yeah, I don't know, but it's like the motto is like range it and eliminate it, and so it's just got like this,
They're
guy.
afflicted.
Yeah. But anyway, if you're interested in that, go to burrisoptics.com, and then just, their very first link on their navigation is the Eliminator scopes. I know there's an Eliminator 3, and there's a 2 and a 1, and the 3 is really meant for rifles. I think if you're interested in getting this on like a muzzleloader, if you are lucky enough to live in a state where they allow you to put a scope on your primitive firearm, lucky you, and you want to get the Eliminator or the Eliminator 2 because you can have a slower moving bullet with those, as far as having the ballistics computer can work with that, from what I've read so far. God, that'd be nasty with a muzzleloader. But
what was the MSRP on that?
For the 4 to 16, it was 1,500, and the 3 to 12 was 1,200.
Huh. Yep. That if I had that much money, I would definitely get one. Put it on, something big, like you said, 300 Win Mag. That'd be awesome. Maybe even I don't know what else be good. 338, but that's like a $5 bill every time you pull the trigger.
Yeah, like 30-06.
270.
270. There's a lot of people. I don't know. Most people that I know that go hunting with a caliber that they thought 300 Win wasn't enough for them. They've gone to like the 338 Edge or 33 378.
Some reloaders.
Yeah, definitely. So one other thing to take in consideration is how much is this going to take up lengthwise. The higher magnification one is 15.5 inches, and the lower one is 13.5 inches. So it's definitely going to need some rail space to mount on. So this might not be compatible with your grandpa's hunting rifle. So you want to just make sure of that. It doesn't use rings at all. So as far as mounting goes, you're probably definitely going to want some kind of rail system on the top of your action. So moving on to Ruger, and good old Ruger's put out another single action revolver, and this is the single 7 and 327 Federal Magnum. And that's actually a caliber that I've never come across. Nope. But from what I understand, it's just kind of one of those calibers that fell out, with the 38 Special and all that coming out. So it's actually only available through Lipsy's. It's kind of like a dealer exclusive. It's stainless. It's got a nice wood grip. It comes in 3 barrel lengths: 4 5/8, 5.5, and 7.5. There's a lot of like single action shooters that would appreciate this caliber. 327 will actually handle more different. It's kind of like 44 Magnum. You can shoot 44 special. 357 Magnum, you can shoot 38 specials. With a 32, do they call it a 327 or a 327? Probably 327. Yeah. You can also shoot 32 H&R Magnum, 32 Smith & Wesson long, and 32 Smith & Wesson short cartridges. So you've got a little bit of cartridge adaptability. However, I haven't heard or seen any of those in the store before. So if you're a reloader of kind of more obscure revolver cartridges, this would be up your alley.
Like Mr. Michad?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's got a 7-round chamber, or 7-round cylinder.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And then they also make one for 22 LR.
Yeah, and that's the I don't know. That's just kind of like the single 10 that they've had. This just kind of fits into that category.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So it's got a ramp front sight. The let's see the 5.5 barrel length. That one's 36 ounces. The um, 4 and 5/8. That's 34 ounces, and the 7.5. That's 43 ounces. Got to go with the 7.5, man. It's
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I've recently got to shoot a really awesome revolver. It's a Colt Buntline Scout 22 mag. Had an 11-inch barrel on it. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice. It was awesome.
So as for the MSRP of these, you have to go to lipsiesguns.com to kind of check these out. I'm not seeing an MSRP. It might be a little early still.
659
659.
for
Okay.
the five.
I can't hear you. Did you accidentally mute yourself or pull your earplug?
Yeah, I did.
There you go.
I don't know. I did that. Yeah, the MSRP 659 for the 5.5 and 789 for the 7.5.
Cool.
Not bad, really. I wouldn't spend it, but if I had extra money laying around and I wanted another revolver, it'd be pretty cool. Especially like you said, if you were into more of the odd or obscure cartridges, because a good revolver is expensive anyways.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I always like the GP 100s or the Blackhawks, but this would if you were I think this would kind of be a little bit more niche. Like if you really wanted a 327, there must have been some kind of calling for that for Ruger to produce this. But that's cool. I'd be interested to learn more about the 327, the origins on that.
Hmm.
So go on over to good old Ruger's website, www.ruger.com, and you'll find that under single action revolvers. There's the single six, and then if you keep going down on that list, you'll see distributor exclusive, and that's what this is listed under.
Lipsies.
So
Where
let's
is
get
Lipsies out
right.
of?
I don't know. I know they make some pretty. There's a lot of, especially Ruger, when there's a gun that's like a different color, or it's got like an added feature. It's usually through Lipsies.
Huh.
Their
Cool.
website, lipsiesguns.com. I think they're affiliated with Talo. So basically, the original name was S&S Wholesale Sporting Goods, but it was changed in 1993. And as far as where they're out of, they're kind of a national dealer.
Okay. That's cool.
So
Just wondering.
yep. Um, so yeah, let's get right into the sponsored product spotlight. So as I've said on previous episodes, if you're looking to buy some rifle steel or some pistol steel or even
Hmm.
rimfire steel, you really can't go wrong with Action Target. Especially, you can use our promo code Radio15 to get 15% off your order. And if you go through, click on one of the affiliate links off of our websites, firearmsradionetwork.tv, that would give us some affiliate love, and we appreciate that. So this week, I actually picked the 45-degree static target, just because we had kind of featuring a rifle. And this 45-degree static is basically a rifle circular plate that's tilted at even more of a dramatic angle than typically. So that allows you to shoot this with higher powered rifles at a closer distance than 100 yards. Most steel, even when it's tilted at whatever the actual angle is still only rated for 100 yards and over.
Mhm.
If you shoot at less than 100 yards, then you're going to start putting little dimples in your steel. So this 45 degree lets you shoot, up to 50 yards and beyond without actually damaging the steel. So
That's
it's
cool.
AR 550 armor steel, um, and then you can choose the height of the stand. So you can select the Evil Roy practice stand, which I highly recommend because you can just fold the whole thing up on itself and really easy to transport. Or you can just get the static stands in 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, or 4 foot. Have you ever shot steel, Glenn?
Yes, I have. And you've really been on these action target these targets for a while, and I've been wanting to get one to try out. I haven't got one yet, but I have shot steel a few times, and it is a blast. That's my favorite thing to shoot, hands down. I shoot a lot, and I'm constantly running through targets, and I've got everything under the sun, but steel is easily my favorite. I'll send you some pictures after this, after we get done here, maybe tomorrow. But I'll show you my range that I set up, and I definitely need to invest in these.
Um, so I mean the price is really it's not the cheapest steel out there, but then again, cheapest steel you're
Steel.
going to be punching through holes like butter through.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've done it, and it
so
sucks.
yeah, this is actually 3/8 inch thick AR 550 steel. So it's designed for use of calibers that have a muzzle velocity less than 3,000 feet per second at 500 yards. So if you're shooting something that's hotter than that, you just need to put this target out a little bit farther until your bullet velocity drops below 3,000. Um, so no shooting this with a 22 250 at 50 yards for
Oh
sure.
shit.
But perfectly capable of handling 223, 556, 308, and even shotgun slugs from only 50 yards, which you really can't do with other targets
Right.
unless you want to basically ruin them. And you definitely want to be shooting at targets that are damaged because that changes the ricochet, and you might get some splashback directly toward you. So this should be the safest bet. I can see this being a huge asset to somebody who wants to do a like a carbine stage
Hmm.
and have it. You have your long range steel, but definitely usually anything within 100 yards, they ended up putting up just like an IDPA cardboard target for you to shoot at. Um, this you'd be able to actually have the benefits of steel closer up, and it's only got a price tag of $219, which is a really good price considering that their stands are awesome. I mean, you definitely don't want to put any. You don't want to shoot the stand because it is a milder grade of steel, but it'll handle the splash and the spalding from the lead bullet just fine. Easy to kind of fold up and put away too. I love my Evil Roy stands because they just you've got I've got 12-inch circle heads on them, and you just lift the whole thing up, and there's kind of like a cam system, so you lift it up and then you can just rotate it under, and so it just kind of folds up. So you just slide it in the bed of your truck and you're good to go. So
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I've heard you talk about those before, and um, anytime I go to the range, I've got so much stuff loaded up, and I've got a SUV, and I've got so much stuff. I don't have room for anything else with all the guns and different targets and stuff I take to shoot. So that'd be really helpful. Yeah, that's really good MSRP on that too. I didn't realize it was that inexpensive.
yeah, well, and they use definitely quality steel, and all the mounting as far as the nuts and the bolts, they're all behind the steel plate, be it like a little gooseneck, so you're not running the risk of damaging any of the mounting hardware or a bullet hitting any welds and fracturing it. So it's kind of really nice that they gave it that much thought, and the price is actually really good. I mean, and each one is just purpose built. And I'm not just saying that because they're this bandwidth sponsor. I mean, they are fantastic steel, and it's what I use exclusively. And I mean, I was shooting it this last weekend with shotguns, both birdshot, buckshot, slugs. I've shot, pretty hot 44 Magnum loads, regular pistol calibers. I have not shot it with a centerfire rifle yet. I've just kind of been building up my own confidence level. I'm
Hmm.
usually, if I'm shooting a rifle, it's, I'm shooting for small groups on paper.
Right.
So I haven't really had I guess I'd have to. I gotta find. I've got the range available. It just wanted to pick a day where I felt like hiking 1,000 yards and setting out in the field and hiking back.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on that, but a great steel, man. So go on over to store.actiontarget.com. Then go to steel targets, and then under rifle steel, there's a 45-degree static.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
pretty sweet, man. I'm definitely after hearing it discussed as much as it has been on the show, I'm certainly because I've ruined all my targets that I had, all the different ones. I've had a bunch of different targets, so I'm gonna go over there and check them out, and I hope that some of our listeners also find the opportunity to
yeah,
enjoy their shooting a little bit more, because steel is, in my opinion, the most fun to shoot.
yeah. I mean, I've run cheaper stuff that were just kind of handmade, where you'd get them off a
Yeah.
scrap pile and then weld together some hooks. But I mean, those don't last. I mean, you can only you okay. I'm only gonna shoot this with my pistol, but at some point, someone's going to shoot it with like an AK or an AR, and it's gonna ruin it, and then you're just gonna throw it in the garbage or whatnot. It's good to have something that's professional and is gonna last you, and so if you're using it for just pistols, that's fantastic. If something happens and a 308 hits it or a 223, you didn't just lose your investment. It took it just fine. Um, so anyway, be sure to check that out and use the Radio 15 promo code to get 15% off your order. So let's go right into the main topic, the panel reviews, and Glenn is gonna take the wheel.
Okay, I'm taking that wheel and gonna go ahead and discuss the Raid Tech AR-15 digital counter. Um, yeah, so I received this. I was driving to Norman, Oklahoma, and listening to the podcast whenever you announced that I was the winner. I was pretty thrilled because I downloaded the podcast onto my iPod, and after I listened to, I think it was Handgun Radio, I turned on the Gun and Gear Review podcast, and I heard my name, and I was like stoked. I came home after I got home that night. I played it for my wife. I was like, "Listen to this, it's awesome." She's like, "Oh, what you win?" And like the next Monday, it was, I think it went on a Friday. It was in my mailbox. That was really awesome. So that being said, it is the AR-15 digital counter from RaidTech. I won this product by leaving a review of this podcast on iTunes. If you would like to be a winner, remember to go to iTunes and leave a review for the Gun and Gear podcast. It is appreciated, and you could be doing your own review of an awesome product that you could potentially win. But you can't be a winner if you don't enter, and you can't enter if you don't leave a review. So the claim to fame for this product is, they say goodbye to the days of worrying how much ammunition you have left in the magazine, thanks to Ammo Control trademarked digital counter. This product is geared for, it says the 21st century firearms, which, I don't think firearms are going to be purchasing it, but the people maybe that own the 21st century firearms will be purchasing it. I guess it's anybody really. From my perspective, it's really good for anybody that's got training or classes to run. And basically, it says that Raid Tech, on the homepage of the company, it says that they work on a daily basis to develop new products like this one to improve security and tactical parameters in the use of firearms. These functionalities offer users a unique tactical edge that could be vital in in dangerous situations. I don't know about that. I guess the training aspect of it, may be becoming more familiar um, with the platform of the manual of arms of an AR-15, if that's the product that you have. That's one I had. I know that some of the reviews that I read on it, a lot of people that were in IDPA or IPSC seemed to like the thought of it on their pistols. So it could be geared for anybody. Really anybody that's training, or if they want to speed up their times in competitions. The features and benefits of the product. There's 3 pieces of this product. The first that I'm going to cover is the digital display, and the digital display is a piece that attaches to anything that has a rail, displays the exact number of rounds left inside the magazine on a digital screen after each shot, or by pressing the manual activation button on the front of the display. It displays the total number of shots discharged when installed on the firearm. The display automatically adjusts depending on the brightness of the environment, and the information is only visible to the shooter. Now, to kind of give the listeners an idea of what that is, I've got it right here. It is actually right here. So, can you see that?
Yep.
All right. And if I want to see right there, I don't know if you can see it. It's not really saying much, but because you're not the shooter, you can't see it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it showing 0.
Okay. Yeah, so that is accurate because this is an unloaded weapon, firearm, whatever. It's a rifle. That is the display, and it attaches to the rail very easily with a flathead screwdriver. Pretty light. I guess you put the battery in that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, I didn't have one of those. And so I really like the display. It's the only piece that I took off after shooting it before I brought it back home, because to fit in the bag that I have, the range bag. The manual activation pad is that is this piece right here. It's almost like where the magwell grip would be, and this is the activation pad, and there is a small button over here, and that's what I was pushing to get the LED screen to light up on the display, to show me the actual count, the round count. If you didn't see it when you pulled the trigger, you can press that button, and it Yep, so you press the button on the front of the grip. It's highly shock and temperature resistant polymer body. It's easy to install, and it adds the same weight and mass as a factory grip is what the product review, or I guess the product, one of their benefits of it, I guess they're referring to a magwell grip, which I didn't actually have one on my rifle, but I'll take it that they mean that it's just like the same weight as adding a magwell grip to your rifle in this case.
Yeah, like a Mako or something like that.
Yeah, I had one of those originally when I got my first rifle, and I didn't find myself more able to acquire targets quickly, so I put a foregrip further out of my rifle, so I got rid of that thing a long time ago. But it does seem, it's really lightweight, really easy to put on, and it does have these little grooves here. They're like finger grooves, kind of, right here. They're not that deep, though. And then you also have the grip. Yeah, it's easy to install. It uses a CR2016 or CR2032 batteries, and it's the same texture as original grip, which I'll take that means the original, like Mako, like you said. What were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. It's just that I think before you said that it comes with a rail. I think you meant to say scope ring. So it's got like a little 1-inch single scope ring that actually holds a display, and then you just clamp that onto the rail. But
Yeah, it's like will attach a 1-inch Picatinny rail is I guess what I meant to say.
yeah,
Yeah, and it is yeah, like a little bitty scope ring, right on the money there. There are aesthetic options or finishes available. It is black only. It's the only way they make it. The only color they make it in, and probably the only one that they need. Oh, what are others saying? Well, in doing my research about this, many different opinions about the Raid Tech products, and what I put here was from great to horrible, from competitive advantage for shooters to communist arbitration for gun owners. I will allow the listeners to brave the waters at the Truth About Guns website themselves, and I put a link of that in the show notes. I don't know if that's going to be available for the listeners, but
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that a lot of different varying viewpoints is with a lot of things with firearms. Some very heated and very opinionative people about this, and I didn't read any bad reviews from people that have shot it or put it on any other weapons, and anybody that hadn't didn't leave any good reviews, so pretty interesting. The price point for this is if you go to the www.ratetechusa.com, it's $225. However, if you go to Amazon.com using the affiliate link, that is, you can find the Raid Tech sells it at Amazon for $149. And those are the only two places I found it. Well, I found one on eBay, but do people even use eBay anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. So you can get it from Raid Tech USA or Amazon, and it was actually, I believe it was available for Prime. So overall, I liked it. I want to say thanks to you for sending it to me, and to Jake for giving you the opportunity to send it to me. I thought it would be obtrusive and in the way, and it actually wasn't at all. I have no reason to take the ammo control counting device off of my rifle. It's just like having a small mag wheel grip on the lower receiver. The viewer or the digital display is attached easily with a flathead screwdriver and any standard 1-inch Picatinny rail. It can be mounted anywhere along any rail, but preferably along the focal plane on a rail. It is easy on-off feature, and that's great for fitting it into the range bag. It's a great tool when, as I was trying to teach someone the fundamentals of timing and reloading with the AR-15. I was able to more easily assess what they were doing or focusing on before engaging the next magazine in his chest rig. It helped him with knowing how many shots had been taken when he was doing his 3-round groups. It was pretty interesting because it was the second time this person had ever shot an AR-15, and the last time they were in a prone position the entire time, just not really shooting it. Well, shooting it, but not really running it. Another great thing, or a plus, was the 2 new followers for my magazines. I'm thankful for them. They're very easy to install, as any follower is, and I needed them. The only negative I can see for this would be the price. I got a really good deal on it. It was free, as I mentioned at the beginning. So, but I didn't let it persuade my review either way. So overall, if I saw a need or thought that I would use this tool or utilize it in any sort of regular basis and spend money on it, I would be very satisfied, overall highly satisfied with the fit, finish, and function of it. The overall score that I gave it was a 7. The only detractant from it being reviewed higher would be the price. Even $150 it's not horrible, but at the same time, if you don't use it, if I did spend the money on it and I spent $150 on it, I would be thrilled with it. So I give it a 7, and that is good. So I think it's a good product.
So one thing, go back to the followers. So it did come with followers that have little magnets in them, so you would actually replace the follower in your existing magazine with these blue followers with magnets in them, and that's what
Correct.
relays the signal to the manual activation. I mean the grip, well, the main unit that relates the position of that follower tells it how many rounds you have left in your 30-round magazine.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and I think the way it tracks it is distance and the magnetic impulse from the initial firing of the cartridge. As it gets closer, they've put a mathematical sequence in there, so it basically knows how strong the signal is as the follower gets closer. Because as I sent you that video, you probably noticed it on some of the reviews that I read. There were some misreads, so I'm sure that it's mechanical. It's going to have errors, but I think that it's the magnets send the signal to the reader based on the distance. That's the only thing I can figure out.
Yeah. I did try and play around with one of the models that I had, and I found out quickly that you could not use that follower in a PMag. I don't know if you tried to install one on a PMag. I had to go out and buy a Bushmaster, 30-round, GI profile magazine.
Like one of these?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got about 30 of these, so.
Yeah, so if you're only running PMags, that's the only downfall that I would add to your review is the followers are unique, or not unique, but I guess PMag followers are unique to PMags.
There you go. Yeah,
so
I wouldn't take
they're not compatible. It's not really their fault, but because PMags are so popular, maybe it would be nice for them to develop their own Raid Tech follower specifically compatible with PMags.
Or do some DIY there with some little magnets.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I really think it's a good product. I wouldn't take one of my PMags apart to put a non-Magpul follower in it personally, but I run tap. What's that?
It won't run. So
yeah, I've never had to take one apart, but I've got some Colt mags, some 20-round Colt mags. I was wondering if this would work on a 20-round mag or not. I didn't try it, but I can run as big of a mag as I want here in Oklahoma, but it's heavy the larger you get. But I just installed them on these, just government issue. These are Army issue mags, and I got them from a soldier here off of Fort Sill. He gave me 26 of them for free. It's a pretty good deal. So
right on. So yeah, thanks for doing that review.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for leaving this iTunes podcast review, and for listeners right now, I'm gonna try and because when I get products, and when a really generous sponsor or a company that's interested in spotlighting on the podcast, I'm more than happy to give those out. It doesn't happen a whole lot. I don't have like a steady supply coming in, so when I do have them, I will try to do more giveaways. So it never hurts to leave an iTunes review. There might be some FRN swag in the future available for fans. We're talking about getting some hats done up, maybe some patches. I don't know about man thongs, but that suggestion that was definitely a suggestion that was thrown out there. So stay tuned for more goodies.
I'd like to throw this out there, Ryan, that if there are any listeners that leave a review and they want to check out the Raid Tech, maybe they have a purpose or a need for it, as long as nobody's opposed to, I don't mind sending it to them for them to try it out. I'd be more than happy to, as long as they send it back or send it to another user, and we keep, I guess, keep it in the listener base.
The kind of like the sisterhood of the traveling pants would be like brotherhood of the traveling AR-15 components.
I guess I don't know what that is.
That would be awesome. I think we should do that with like optics too. Like, hey, I've got this Trijicon ACOG. I'm gonna forward it on to somebody, and they're gonna shoot it and then send it on to somebody else. So it's like,
Yeah,
I'd
I
get it.
agree. I've got so many components that are sitting around that aren't on my rifles, and I was going through them earlier. I'm like, man, I got so much stuff, and I know that some of it's tremendously expensive or just hard to get, or even if it's 30 or $40, somebody might not want to spend that money. And like I said, if they get a hold of you, I'll send it to them. I have no
Okay,
problem.
cool.
Maybe we
Yeah,
can start something cool.
that's pretty awesome. We appreciate that.
My pleasure, man. I appreciate you sending it to me and the opportunity to do the review and be on the podcast.
Yeah, no sweat, man. So what I'm reviewing this week, it's a pretty simple review. It's a shell caddy by California Competition Works. So it's just a little 4-shell shotgun shell caddy. They do make it in 6-shell configuration, so it holds 2 more shells. This holds 2 3/4 inch shells and 3-inch shells. It's got a where'd it go? It comes with these black plastic strips that and it comes with some Velcro pads. And so basically, if you're running 2 3/4, you need to insert one of these spacers into one of the sides, and then you could use the Velcro pads to adhere it there. So that takes up the 3 inches of space available. So that, see, I've got 2 3/4 shells in here. They don't rattle around, or they rattle around, but they're not going to just fall out willy-nilly. And they're also available in multiple colors, multiple meaning 3 options: black, coyote brown, which really looks like Hershey bar brown to me, and then orange. So for like clipping this on and it would match your bird hunting vest or whatnot. I got this one about a few years ago. I think I might have got it from Midway. I think it was around $24. You can also get them on Amazon, and I'll put the affiliate link in the description on the review. And I don't know if Brownells has these available, but if they do, you can be sure that I'll put that link in there as well. So basically, why you would use these is, if you're in a competition, you're probably not wearing a bird vest that's got little shotgun shell loops on it. If you've got a sling with shotgun shell loops in it, not only do you look like a complete mall ninja by having this, big ol', what do they call those? Bandolier of shotgun shells. It ain't doing it. If you're doing something that's competitive, or maybe you're just shooting skeet, and you want to be able to keep a few extra shells on your belt level. That way it's easy for you to access with your hand. This would be the way to go. There's a couple companies that make these. California Competition Works is actually one of the cheapest, or not cheap meaning quality,
Least expensive.
least expensive of the options. It's got a very strong steel back. So it's all one piece bent steel. And then actually, if there's any negatives that I have for this item, it's that steel is just way rugged. I mean, I have put some serious strength into bending this clip just high enough to slip a belt through. I mean, once you get this on a belt, you almost don't want to take it off because the steel is just so stiff. So it's kind of a Achilles heel. I mean, you want a stiff clip so that it doesn't come off your belt, especially if you're actually hunting and you've got this on your belt and you're hiking or jumping over some obstacles. You don't want to just falling off. But trust me, this ain't going anywhere. This thing is really hard. In fact, I have to almost, when I'm putting on my belt, it's really easier just to slip the belt right through as opposed to trying to lift this clip up at all.
Yeah.
Because the thing is stiff. So besides that, you want to mount it in you can mount it in the upward position if you want. I know that's what most people do, so that way they can just reach down and usually they'll rip out 2 shells at a time, so they can speed load into their shotgun easier. I found that the retention system with the shotgun shells, it's these 2 kind of bent metal rods. It's so good that I actually mount this thing downwards, so that way when I'm stripping the shells out, I have a little bit of assistance with gravity and just leverage, just pulling downward on my belt as opposed to reaching down and then pulling up. It just seems like it's easier for me to rip them out that way.
Hmm.
I got the 4 instead of the 6 just because at the time doing 3 guns, I was using one of those ridiculous UTG tactical vests, so I didn't want this huge because the 6 round caddy is quite a bit taller, and I didn't want it to obstruct my vest. But I don't run with that anymore because you go to your first 3 gun match and you're wearing like a full tactical vest. You're the only one wearing it, unless there's some others that have made the same error in judgment, and
Oh,
you stick out like a sore thumb, and everyone looks at you kind of funny.
you got a good belt off of it though, right?
Yeah, that is true. So it is handy to be able to, if you're running a shotgun stage, and you have 2 of these. I have 2 of these, and so you put them on your belt, and so you can have, an extra 8 or an extra 16 shells on your belt. That's a whole lot better than reaching into a dump bag and trying to get them when they're loose or digging in your pockets. This way you can have them oriented in the same direction, and it'll shave off seconds off your time for the shotgun stage. So really,
Bandoliers don't work very well either, by the way.
no.
They're horrible.
Yeah, well, usually when you have that loop system, of course, if you're running 20 gauge, which competitively you wouldn't be really using 20 gauge, but unless you had weak wrists. But usually with you're constantly taking shells out, putting them in. The retention on those kind of degrades over time to where a 12 gauge shell will just fall right out. I've got a bunch of duck hunting gear that the shells would just fall right out.
Yep.
You're not going to run that risk at all. And plus, this is what the pros who know what they're doing and they want to cut down their times, they use these. So why not follow suit? So it's the spacers being secured with Velcro. At first, I was kind of suspect of it, but it actually works out just fine. And it's if you want to switch to 3-inch shells, you just pull the shells out, take out that Velcro, and then you can use 3-inch shells. You still got a Velcro pad in there, so I haven't really tried it all that much. Because 3-inch shells I only use for duck hunting, and I don't really typically use this when I'm sitting in the blind, but mostly for shooting skeets or shooting in a timed competition would be the target use for this. So I'm going to give this a rating. I'm going to give it a solid 8. I know my last few ratings have been in the 8.5 range. Because it's just got a couple things that just for usability for me, the belt is just like overly built. That's not typically a bad thing, but if you've got a thicker belt, that's hard to just run through this like a loop. It makes it difficult. But other than that, I think a solid 8 is pretty fair for this item. So again, that's from California Competition Works, Shell Caddy. And both available in the 4 and the 6. So I'll just read you a review. This one's off Midway. It says, good starter setup. I have 2 of these and 2 of the AP Custom 4x4s. AP Custom is the more expensive brand, almost twice the price. So this person, the only complaint they have with this product is the belt clip. The belt clip is horrible with all capital letters. I'm trying to find a way to put the Blade Tech belt hook system on these for the cost savings. They are a pretty good starting point. So that was from Tyler, and he's from Washington as well. That's cool. So if you're just getting into 3-gun, you could definitely pick some of these up. I'd probably recommend, because they're so easily affordable, I'd get like one of the lighter color ones, and so you can take a black Sharpie and write your name on them, or use like a silver Sharpie and put your name on it. But I don't know. If you want to be straight up tactical, you'd get the the black, because that coyote brown will not match any of your other um, flat dark earth stuff. Just FYI, it literally looks like a candy bar. So
Yeah.
that's my review. Nice and simple. So let's get into the tech gadget or app, and this one's actually pretty cool. Not specifically firearms related, however, everybody has a vehicle. Everyone at one time has had a dead battery in their vehicle, and usually everyone has like a smartphone, and that's had a dead battery too. So having some kind of charging system that can accommodate and give a jump start to all your devices, including your vehicle, it's kind of a cool thing. So this is called the Powerall. If you go to www.thepowerall.com and then go to product, what it is, it's an all-in-one power bank, jumpstart, and LED flashlight. And you might be thinking, well, I've got one of these in the back of my car, and it probably is, bigger than your car battery. This one's actually small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. It's not much bigger than like a OtterBox cased smartphone. It's got a little bit of thickness to it, but you could definitely throw this in your glove box. And so when this thing's charged, they're saying that you could effectively jumpstart your vehicle 20 times on one charge of this thing. It's also got ports for all of your other devices as well. So USB, your iPhones, things like that. It's also got some safety features, so over current protection, short circuit protection, overload protection, over voltage protection, and overcharge protection. So some devices might be a little bit more finicky as far as how long you can have them plugged into the wall charging. This has those safety features all built in, and it's a small handheld platform. So it's equipped with two 5-volt, 2.1 amp USB ports that can charge two separate devices fast and simultaneously. That's also a big thing. Is usually if you've got one of those big, kind of more traditional battery jump start kits, and it happens to have a USB charger, you can only do one phone at a time, and if you're on a road trip with your significant other, that can kind of become kind of a little tug-of-war thing. My
Yeah.
battery's lower than yours. Well, no, I need to use mine more. You're driving, that kind of thing. With this
Yeah.
thing, you can charge both phones at the same time, which is going to lead to a lot less domestic disputes. But the fact that it's so small, you can keep it in your glove box, so you're not taking up a bunch of extra space underneath your seats or nothing. And jumpstart your car 20 times on one full charge. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
You can even get multiple ones for your kids' cars. So because that's one thing, you never want your kid to have a dead battery out in the middle of nowhere. And as far as it's got an ultra bright LED flashlight. I'm not seeing lumens on there. It just says it has multiple illumination modes. There's a constant on, and there's also an SOS signal light.
86 lumens.
86 lumens? Man, you're on it. Appreciate that. Oh, if I scrolled down, I would have saw that. I'm going to have you on the show more often.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So MSRP for the regular Powerall, it's $119.95. There's also a deluxe model, and that's $139.95. And the difference between the two is the deluxe model actually comes with a hard carrying case or a heavy duty carrying case, and it's got professional grade smart jumper cable with anti-voltage feedback protection, whereas the regular one that's just $20 cheaper, it doesn't look like it's got those smart jumper cables. So for the extra $20, and it comes in a case, so if you want to put this underneath the seat, or just have that option, or throw it in your glove box, I'd go with the deluxe. Either way.
I know the MSRP is rather, what it is. Have you seen it anywhere else? Because I think I saw it the other day. Yeah, not online. I saw it at a store, and it was not nearly that expensive.
Do you remember what store?
Lowe's.
Lowe's.
Yeah, Lowe's or Home
Um,
Depot, one of the two.
let's see. I think Amazon here probably has it for looks like $99.99. So $100 on Amazon.
Is that for the
We'll make sure
deluxe or
that
the
we.
regular?
That looks like the regular.
Yeah, I think I
So
saw
by
the
that
regular
margin.
479, but maybe it was like a
Oh,
knockoff brand. I don't know, but I'll check it out this week.
yeah.
That's really,
Operating
really awesome.
temperatures. Yeah. I mean, the LED lifespan. Of course, that's going to be high because it's LED. But see, the operating temperatures of both units is minus 20 to 140 degrees. The battery life cycles for both of them is over 500 times, and the capacity is 12,000 milliamp. Is that mAh? I'm not an electrician. I'm assuming
Hmm.
that's milliamp.
Hmm.
And the battery type is lithium ion. So I would definitely add this to your vehicle kit as far as making sure you can stay on the road and charge your devices, your GPSs and whatnot. Make
The
sure you can
GoPro,
get to the range. Your GoPro, exactly. Make sure
it
you can
eats
get to the
battery.
range safely. Yeah, anything that runs on a battery, your iPhone, your camera. Um, yeah. So go to www.thepowerall.com to look at those. But we would recommend going using the affiliate link that will be in the show notes, and that'll get you to Amazon for a cheaper price, and then spread some of that affiliate love our way. So we appreciate that. So on to the listener feedback. I have two new reviews. One by AC Dude, and he left us a 3-star review. Said Gun and Gear reviews by and for the average Joe. Another good podcast on the Firearms Radio Network. Keep the reviews coming. So thanks for that review. There's also another one. There's a 4-star review. It just says good stuff, and that's by B70714. He says that this podcast has come into its own and provides a good variety of firearm and shooting gear reviews. Reviews are fair and not influenced by sponsors. Keep up the good work. So thank you to to you both for those reviews, and you'll be entered for the Intelliscope. And they've both already emailed me their contact information, so that's good. Um, just to wrap up the show, if you want to listen to the other podcasts on the Firearms Radio Network, make sure you go to Firearms Radio Network or firearmsradio.tv. Specifically, plug in the show Week in Guns. If you haven't gotten a chance to stay up on all your industry and political gun news, This Week in Guns is a very good podcast to listen to every week. It covers kind of more high-profile kind of crimes or incidences where self-defense and a firearm was used. Some political stuff, new happenings, definitely some industry stuff. We kind of cover anything that has to do with guns that week. It's a very good one to listen to and keep up on the current events. So you can listen to
Hmm.
that by going to www.firearmsradio.tv/thisweekinguns. So send questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsider.tv or myself, cross@firearmsradio.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. And check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network, firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider page for more gear reviews and industry coverage. And if you're interested in getting a hold of that RaidTech AR-15 from Glenn, go ahead and shoot me an email to cross@firearmsradio.tv. So thanks for joining me this week, Glenn. Anything in closing you want to say?
No, I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to doing it again sometime.
Yeah, I appreciate you listening to the show, and definitely for coming on. And I'll be sure to add you to the email list for when I'm looking for guests each week. I'm excited and looking forward to you coming on the show again.
Sounds good, man.
Yep. Well, have a good week. Shoot safe. remember to drink your water, and definitely let's catch you on the next episode.
All right, man. See
Yep.
you later.